Thankfully, I don't have to worry about that being in the intro. Uh, we all know what the intro is going to be. Right, Trey?
Of course.
All right, so Trey, have you prepared an intro for us today?
Probably, well, I don't know. It'll just be something normal, I guess.
Well, let's hear it then.
Okay. Prepare myself. You're now listening to the Where's My Invite podcast with your hosts, Billy and Joe, guest starring me, Trey. Hope you enjoy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Is
Very
Joe here?
professional.
Okay,
Yes.
here he is.
Welcome to this week's episode of Where's My Invite with Billy and Joe. Thanks for listening. All right, Trey.
All right.
I heard you all talking a little bit about how you met while I was looking for that. But let's talk about how you and I met from your perspective first.
So, from my perspective, I remember, it was, of course, first year at UVA, first or second semester, I can't remember. But John, he told me, he was like, hey, we've got a esports server. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that's awesome. Can I get, where's my invite? So
Okay.
he hits me with the link and I hop in and, Joe has a few games listed already. And I'm like, oh my God, where's Rocket League? That would be awesome. So I suggest to him Rocket League and he's like, oh, my bad. I meant to put that one down. So he gets it in there and they needed somebody for Overwatch. And I hit him up with a message. I'm like, if you need somebody, I can fill your spot. He's like, oh, dude, that's dope. And
Probably
at that time,
verbatim what I said.
It might have been. But he says that, and it didn't hit me, but I was only on a laptop at the time, and I had no good PC whatsoever. So Joe hits me up with a message, and he's like, hey, we're about to start practice, or we're going to do practice tonight. Are you going to be there? And I fucking ghost him. I said nothing back. I was like, and just kind of left it there. And then
I don't remember that because so many people would ghost me whenever, because like so many people in the esports club, they were like, fuck yeah, esports, let's do this. And then whenever it actually came time to practice, people were like, nah, don't feel like it. I want to play games. Not
for me.
When and how I want to play them.
Exactly.
And so I think people kind of, obviously that wasn't the case with you, but I think people kind of get excited about esports, but then realize that you actually have to practice with your teammates pretty regularly. And it kind of just becomes a job.
And honestly, we don't practice where we did not practice enough as compared to like what a normal esports club would do. Probably like 2 hours every day.
Yeah, the ones
probably standard
at U Pike. I think it was U Pike in Pikeville, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
They practiced every fucking day almost, and so we practiced like twice a week. And then once the tournament was coming up, we'd switch to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue, Trey.
Well, so Overwatch fell through for me, and. You all had your season and whatnot. And, I'm still in the server, but I do absolutely nothing. And what was it? It was, God, when was it last year that we played you all in Rocket League?
So last year?
Alex, and, we got to stop saying his full fucking name. We always say his full name whenever we talk about him on this podcast.
Sad Gorilla.
So anyway, Sad Gorilla. I'll refer to him as Sad Gorilla. Him and Jonathan and I were on the team. And Gorilla was begging me to find a replacement for him. Because he's so finicky with Rocket League. that he did not want to make any commitments. He's just that kind of finicky person. But and then Jonathan one day was just like, "Hey, we got some friends who I got some friends who want to scrim with us." And I was like, "Okay, that's dope." And so then me, Alex, Sad Gorilla, and Jonathan scrimmed against their friend Jacob, some other rando that joined this server that we currently have and was kicked by Merc, I think, and Trey. But we scrimmed against them, and honestly, like, it was kind of, I don't mean to like diss anyone, but it was kind of a 1v1 between Trey and I.
Mm-hmm.
And
what were y'all's ranks?
I was like Diamond 1 at the time.
I was either 1 or 2 at least.
Yeah, Trey was right there with me, and so we were neck and neck, and Jonathan was like Gold 1, Alex was like Plat 2, and then I think your guys were pretty low as well. I think the highest one over there was like Plat 2 or something. And so me and Trey basically 1v1, and I've always been shit at 1v1s, and Trey kept wrecking me. And so I was like, "Are you a college student here?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, fucking join the team."
And at that point, I was like, "Say no more," and
yeah,
hopped in the next practice.
And then we replaced Jonathan later.
Was I already graduated?
Maybe. I think so. Because I think right after that, we replaced Jonathan with another John, and John didn't take it that well.
Really?
Yeah. But this John was like Champ 1 or Champ 2.
I think this John is my friend.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Super cool guy. I loved playing with him. Kahoshi or something like that. Anyway, he was super cool. Really fun to play with, and he was really good partner.
I have a story about him to tell you guys post podcast.
Okay. But you have any more to add to that, Trey?
Well, other than when we got the team together, practiced, got into a little tournament, went 1 and 2, which I mean was still pretty good compared to what we were playing against.
We whooped in the one that we won. You know,
dude, yeah,
we fucking demolished them. But the other 2 we did not do well.
The second game that we lost, honestly, we played a lot better in that one than the first one.
We did. So we played against, at the time, the highest rank was Grand Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I guess, a couple Diamond 1s or Diamond 2s. So I might have ranked up by then. And Champ 1 or Champ 2, probably Champ 1, and against GCs. And we actually got a couple scores on them in the first game. Couple goals, but then they just started sweating, I guess, and just demolished us. And then we went to the losers bracket, and then we played some absolute scrubs who we destroyed.
That game was not pretty.
It was not. We beat them way worse than the GCs beat us. And then the third game was also against GCs. And we got a few more goals on them, but ultimately they whooped us too. Which we kind of expected since we weren't GC and they were. But, you know, Billy could have been a part of all that, but he wasn't. But
I actually couldn't have been a part of it, I think, because I was graduating.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
But after that, actually, I knew Merc at that time. And Merc said that he was a better coach than he was player and that he could coach us if we wanted him to.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we literally have our match like tomorrow. So and that's going to be the match for the semester. So I think it's a little too soon for that, or too late for that. But then not long after that, I think is when you joined my server and Merc joined my server. And we just started fucking playing together. And since then, you've been a pretty big gear in my Discord.
I always try to keep it lively. I like to keep up with everybody through the day.
Yeah, which is, more than Trey. I don't know how many episodes of this have you listened to, Trey?
All of them.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, that's nice. So the personalities one, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember how introverted I was?
Oh Jesus, we're getting specific.
Yeah, I'm quizzing you.
Come on. If you say allegedly, you've seen every episode.
Okay, well I know it was at least in like the 80s, correct?
Looking through his notes, yeah, it was. On the second personality test we took, I was like 96% introverted and 4% extroverted. Even online, I get so exhausted talking to people. And so I'm so glad that there's people like you and Sammy and Merc in the Discord that are willing to constantly talk to people, because I am not.
Morning people in the Discord that talk. I don't mind talking at night also.
But yeah.
It amazes me that you guys are chatting in the morning.
Dude, the reason I chat with everyone in the morning is because I'm barely pushing myself along. So whenever I get somebody to talk back, I'm like, oh, hey, day's getting better. Let's go.
And Billy also has his own server to handle.
True.
And so I don't expect Billy to chat that much in mine. I try to go over and chat in Billy's, but I think a lot of the people over there, people are getting more and more used to me, but for a long time in Billy's server, I did not think people liked me at all.
Put something up in dead silence.
I would put something up and then someone would make a snarky comment back and I'm like, damn, okay. It's happened several times, and so it's just stopped for a while.
Hey, you gotta live with it. Andrew, my friend Andrew, posted something today. He just randomly mentioned me. And it was like boat for sale. And he was asking me when I was going to get a boat. I'm like, I'm not getting a boat. I don't know why. I have no idea why he would think I'm in the market for a boat. And he goes like, oh, I want a boat. And then the whole conversation basically becomes like, you don't want a boat. You want to know someone with a boat.
Yeah, I want to know someone with a boat. I don't want a fucking boat.
Right.
The only kind of boat I would want is like a super cool yacht that if I wanted to go out on the ocean, I could just kind of stay in it for the night or something. I think that's dope, but other than that, I don't want a boat.
It's kind of like wanting someone, I don't know, like maybe this doesn't count because I kind of would like a lake house, but I don't want the upkeep of having to have two houses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I would like to just like have my uncle or my cousin or someone like that have a lake house so that I can go to it all the time. But I don't want the upkeep and financial obligation of owning a lake house. So anyway, Billy, how did you and Trey meet?
Do you want to go for this, Trey, or me? I think the story is very similar to how I met Eric.
Pretty much. So how this happened was, so before, oh God, how did it even start? I got Faz, and then Joe was like, oh, hey, you've got Faz too? I'm like, yeah. So he hits me up and we play. And this was the first time we played it. I actually met Sammy. And what I think is so funny about that one, Joe's like, oh, hey, I got to go. I'll be back in just a minute. I don't know what he was doing. So it's just me and Sammy sitting there. And I'm like, you know what? I'll wait until Joe gets back. Then we'll do our introductions. So I'm just kind of laying back in my chair. And all of a sudden she's like, oh, hey, I'm Sammy. It's super cool to meet you. And I'm like, oh, my God. I was just going to wait. But let's just go ahead and get started. So Sammy and I chat for a minute. Joe gets back. And then we play. And I believe before I played with you, Billy, we played with Eric. And I think that was the first time I met him. And then fast forward a few days, we have our game, me, you, Joe, Eric, and, you know, long story short, we get locked in an asylum and you two are outside laughing it up while we're fending for our lives. So
I didn't realize you two didn't know each other that well either.
No, Eric and I, you know, maybe we might have played one more time, but we didn't know each other that well, other than one other game, maybe.
So you really bonded because of me.
Exactly. Honestly, I really feel like we did because he and I were like in that room in the bottom of the asylum going, "Do you hear them?" And we could hear you guys laughing all the way across the map. And he and I were just, trying to make plans on how to get out. Anytime we, step foot outside and just hunt again. So,
Oh,
we
man,
had
that
a lot
was
of
funny.
bonding in that room that we were in
And then
together
I
with.
think you died in front of him, didn't you?
No, so this is before we knew that the ghost could like look in the door, like it could see in.
Right.
So Eric dies before me. He's like standing at the door looking, and he dies. So it hunts again, and I'm like maybe a few feet back from it, and it's just walking straight at me, and I'm like, "Oh God!" And then I died, and I don't remember if you all figured it out or you're just like, "Screw it, we're going back."
Do you still have the gameplay of that, Joe?
I don't. Probably not.
I doubt it. Yeah, but man, that was so funny.
That was hilarious. Love that.
I mean, even though we were, we couldn't do a thing, it was still pretty funny. Like
Yeah,
I was laughing.
It was so fucking funny because there's cameras all throughout the asylum, and there's a camera right outside that door. And so we were just watching you all like poke your heads out, then our flashlights would start flashing, and you would just head right back in. It was so fucking constant and immediate that we couldn't even do anything. Like we explained to Eric, as soon as we were about to head out, it would start hunting again. We'd just laugh and go back to the camera.
We would go like, and just watch it happen.
We would try to figure out, okay, what do we need to bring? Oh, it's hunting. And then we would switch and watch the camera and laugh. It would stop, and then we'd be like, what were we doing? And then it would hunt again.
Yeah, so instead of taking the hunting time to prepare, we were just laughing, and then we're like, okay, it's over. Now we can prepare. And so we never really fucking finished preparing.
Yeah.
But what topic do you have, Billy?
Well, I was just going to bring up, that's kind of interesting. I didn't realize how young your server is, Joe. I thought you'd known everyone in the server much longer.
Nope.
Me too, honestly.
Sammy's probably the person I've known the longest. I really kind of knew her before you, Billy.
Okay.
So.
What about Autumn, huh?
I've obviously known Autumn far longer. I've known her for... We've been together for almost 7 years, so...
You're just going to keep adding people to the list now, huh? You're just trying to break up the podcast. We should do that. What was that podcast with the H3H3? We should do that. We should break up. Do you want to have the...
Yeah, you want me to accuse you or you accuse me?
We can work that out after.
Okay.
I guess. But here's something we figured out recently. Maybe not too... within this past year. Trey and I are, of course, I know you're interested, Geminis.
Yes.
And not only that, Trey is older than me, much older than me, by 1 day. And just this past weekend, I had the idea, maybe about a month or two ago, to do a charity live stream for our birthdays, because Trey's birthday was the Friday and my birthday was the Saturday. To do a charity live stream sort of back to back and play like sort of have 1 day for each of us to play solo games, and then at night play with friends, and then sort of also play some like 2-player games like A Way Out or It Takes Two. Unfortunately, on my side, I couldn't participate. I had some work stuff that I couldn't get out of, that I had to do, that had to be done on the weekend. But Trey pushed through. He revealed his hole on stream, and did a whole charity weekend. Do you want to talk about that at all, Trey? Any thoughts on that?
So what I think is funny is when you first brought that up, I was like, oh, that's going to be super cool. And like Billy said, me do a Friday, he does Saturday, and then we do a co-op on Sunday. And I was like, oh, that'll be great. What kind of charity did you have in mind? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, neither do I. So
I hadn't thought that far.
And that was maybe the middle of May, and a couple weeks pass. I send him a message and go, "Hey, have you thought any more about who you want to donate to?" No, but I think was it Jake, Eric's friend,
Yes,
that you got the idea from. He was like, "So the one thing I've thought about is this charity that he donated to." I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And we, at that point, we just got to let it die again.
yes.
And I go on vacation, come back, and the time crunch really hit me at that point. I'm like, oh my God, I have until Friday to figure this out.
And this was like Tuesday, right?
Yeah. So I hit him with another message. Are you still wanting to do that, or are you looking at something else? And he goes, I don't know anymore at this point.
Yeah, by that Tuesday was when I got the news that I couldn't really, that I had to work that weekend. So I didn't put much, any effort in at all into looking it up. But Trey you did an awesome job, Trey.
I appreciate it.
Weekend.
That was a big mix of stress and just literally looking everything up on the internet that I could. Like instantly going to Streamlab Charities, trying to like go through, siphon down options. Finally picked Doctors Without Borders.
How did you end up picking them?
Well, at first I was going to do like, who was it? Autism Speaks. I was going to do that, but then I looked at what the donations go to, and I wasn't really pleased with how they divvied out that money. So I was like, Doctors Without Borders, great cause. So I just kind of stuck with it.
I'm also pretty sure Autism Speaks is actually a horrible autistic charity.
Yeah, that was another thing.
They kind of shame autistic people for being autistic. And like, it's like they treat us like we're retarded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I saw that online too, I was like, yeah, we're definitely not going to do this one.
Yeah.
So that helped me make the final decision.
So why is it that you didn't do an animal shelter charity? Because that would have been my number one choice.
Honestly, I don't think I looked through that many pages. I'm sure there were some, but I don't know. Like Doctors Without Borders was like one of the first ones that I saw, and I'm like, oh hey, that one caught my eye immediately.
It's like a super safe choice. Like you can't get mad at that choice either. It's not like
that's true. That's a good safe choice, and it's a good foundation.
Oh yeah,
it is. It really is. So I mean, that was one of the big things that kind of stuck in the back of my head. I went through maybe 4 or 5 pages. Some of them were, I never even heard of. And at that point, after I figured out Autism Speaks wasn't the one, I was like, you know what? Let's go with the first one I saw. Perfect safety net, and stuck with it.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's a good choice.
For me, I was thinking, since it was June, I was thinking we could do a Pride, maybe something related to Pride. Was one of the things I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Especially since my birthday is actually on the anniversary of that nightclub shooting.
Wow.
In Florida.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So I was thinking that could be, that would be an interesting or a worthy cause. But I just didn't, like I said, since I wasn't really involved, I didn't involve myself enough. I didn't look into anything else. The other option I thought of post your stream, Trey, was especially with the Wikipedia findings articles. I thought, well, hey, maybe we can actually be like the few people that donate to Wikipedia. Maybe next year that's what I'll do. But I thought that was the only other thing I was thinking of. Yeah, just like give me your cups of coffee money, right? That what it says. That's what I would do. And you would go not dogs, but animals, Joe.
I would, yeah. I really wanted to do an animal charity stream quite a while back, but I just, I never researched enough how to do a charity stream. And then I started getting busy and I had to keep quitting my stream schedules. And so it was just, I just never found a good time to. I found time to do a 24-hour stream, just not a charity stream.
You know, I when I first was thinking about streaming, my thoughts were I was going to be streaming every day, right? I don't.
Yeah.
And I thought every weekend I would be doing a charity stream. That was my goal. And if you link us up with some sponsors, you could make my dream come true, right? But in my current work-life balance, I am not doing that. I'm chilling, pretty much, and I'm not putting in the time to stream. And most of my streaming hours come on the weekend. But Trey, you mostly stream during the week.
Yeah, I mean, normally through the week, I know people are busy, so that's a good time to get, if it's a solo game or, maybe the off chance Joe or Merc might not have anything to do, Rocket League or Faz, whatever it might be. And then on the weekends, I think about streaming, but I'm also like, I've got everybody else here. Do I want to, take my attention away from them while we're trying to play a game and focus on, trying to interact with everybody on stream, which, I mean, it's taken time to I wouldn't even say perfect, because I'm nowhere near perfect. It's definitely not perfect. But being able to like go back and forth, looking at the chat and then go back to the game and try not to screw everybody else over. I won't say that's what keeps me from doing a weekend stream, but I try to keep everybody else in mind. Be like, do they really want to hear me talking to myself in a chat? So I try to keep that in mind.
I think one of the first times I played, or the first time we played Labyrinthine, this was after I think we had already beaten Faz to death.
Yeah.
Sammy was going to stream it, and she did stream it. And I think Joe also, you streamed it as well. But Sammy the whole time didn't realize her microphone wasn't muted. So we could hear her the entire time talking to her chat. And Sammy is really good at talking to her chat, like, consistently.
Oh, God, she's super good at it.
But the whole time she was like, I don't know how she did it. It was almost like she didn't take a break to breathe. Just constantly interacting with the chat, which was cool. But that was a really fun time when we played Labyrinthine, which since it hasn't recaptured the fun.
I will say, I did see on Steam, and I'm kind of pulling it up right now. Hold up, I gotta find it in my list.
They're working on set 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
The new.
I mean, I'll totally play that whenever they release it.
Yeah, me too. I will.
But it's just not going to be as fun as it was the first time.
The only thing I don't like about it is that pretty much when we do start it again, we have to start all over, and that's what kind of kills the vibe.
And you definitely know what to expect after one playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really fun, and especially switching from Faz, was that the ghost, or when you get chased, like you actually sprint and you still die.
Yeah.
In Labyrinthine, which I really enjoy.
And they're adding new killing animations.
Are they?
Yeah, and so they're talking about how, like, whenever you died before, you basically, the monster caught up to you and you disappeared. Yes. And you saw a movie and then you reappeared at the last spawn. And so they were like, yeah, that's pretty boring. So now there's killing animations where the monster actually, like, attacks you and claws at you. And then it jumps off of you and starts chasing your friends if they're still around.
Oh,
and then you're just down, and someone can come and revive you if you're not bled out by then. And the normal game mode is that, like, you have so many downs each person, and so then once you get through all of your downs, you go into spectator mode. And then,
wow.
you know, if everybody dies, then the game's over. But they said that because people do like just being able to die over and over, that they are going to have an unlimited lives mode where it's the exact same game. It's just you can keep getting downed over and over.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but Trey is pretty good at staying alive. But at new horror games, I'm really terrible at staying alive. So I don't know what I think of it. But I do like being down because there is one part in Labyrinthine where I'm always the target, it feels like. This is stage 3 with the ants. And they always kill me over and over again. I just can't I can't survive that.
Yeah, and you would almost always be right outside of the fire.
Right. I would always be that close to.
Right. So then we could just revive you, which is nice.
Yeah.
But also, it's going to take away from some of the humor because it was always so fucking
for
funny
you.
Whenever you were running as fast as you could, and then right before you hit the safe zone.
That's why you always followed Joe in that part. Just follow the scrote.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Fill it in with scrote.
You were about to say something, Trey, and I kind of cut you off. Do you know? Do you remember?
I thought you were going to say it was in the catacombs. I think that part, no matter how many times you play it, it's no matter who it is, you're going to get screwed over because that part is so hard.
That part is really hard, I think, and it's because it's just so vast and like
catacomby,
labyrinthy.
Ooh,
sell out.
And so, you know, it's very, very difficult part. In my opinion, it's by far the most difficult part. And I'm excited for the next part. I think it'll be really good. But it just doesn't have fantastic replay value.
Yeah. I would like it more. I think Faz is sort of the horror game we've played the most, and I think we can default to. But
yeah,
we played this other game, Devour, where you actually get chased and like fast. Like the ghost will come out of nowhere and she'll kill you real quick.
And she's fucking screaming throughout the house.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And that's excellent. But I don't know how many good horror games there are multiplayer and like you actually get chased by the ghost and scared.
Yeah. That's true.
We tried this one game, Lunch Lady, which was similar.
Yeah.
It just
we talked about that with Eric.
It did not capture.
It was not it. It was not bussin'.
It was good, but not that great.
With Devour, like I honestly in Devour, once you kill a few goats or electrocute a few rats, and she's like actually on the hunt, I just constantly have a little bit of fear in me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't really feel that in Faz. I don't feel fear until I don't feel that much for Faz anymore. Even whenever the ghost is coming at me, I'm like, oh, here I go dying again.
Yeah, because you don't run and you can't really like
right.
You don't get run at.
Right. And the developers said that they thought it was scarier to not be able to run. I think it's scarier to be running as fast as you can and not be able to escape.
Exactly.
Have you all seen that movie? I think it's 28 Weeks Later, where there's the open. Have you seen that, Trey?
I don't think I have.
Oh, okay. After the podcast, I will send you a clip of the opening for that movie, and that scares the hell out of me. But basically, the zombies. It's a zombie movie, and the zombies run, and it is so goddamn scary. I remember watching it when I was younger, and I've never finished the movie after that. But apparently, it's also the scariest part of the movie.
What is the first movie to ever actually scare the shit out of you?
Well, so this one wasn't really scary. I mean, it kind of kept you on edge. First movie I went and watched in theaters was
Lego Movie.
Yeah, that one's scared
Lego Batman.
As soon as he says, "I'm Batman," then you just kind of piss yourself. But no, it was Paranormal Activity 3, and that it was kind of just a
old were you?
lull. I think I might have been like 8th or ninth grade, maybe.
That was the
I don't
first
know.
movie you'd seen in theaters?
No, like the first horror movie I'd
Oh,
watched
God,
in a
right.
theater.
My bad.
It's okay. But right at like the last 15 minutes is when it takes a crazy turn. And I won't even say there weren't jump scares or anything. It's mainly a big suspense build.
Right.
And I don't know if I should, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched Paranormal Activity 3, but like right at the end, they catch the dude that has the camera and like the ghost, kind of hovers him in the air and folds him backwards and breaks his back.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God.
Didn't know they could do that.
No, but the one I will have to say that got me really good was Annabelle.
Oh, I love the Annabelle movies.
I don't remember the subtitle for it, but it's the one where all the girls go into the big house, like all the orphan girls,
Right.
and they find the doll there. That movie got me pretty good.
I think that's like Coming Home or some shit. Annabelle.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Annabelle Comes Home or some shit like that.
I'm pretty sure that's the Spider-Man movie. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good one too. Not the Spider-Man. The Annabelle movie you're talking about, that's a pretty good one. I really like the Annabelle movies. I like all of the movies in the Conjuring universe.
I'll give my answer, and then I want to hear your answer, Joe, and then I've got a follow-up sort of question for you.
Okay.
The first horror movie that fucked me up, it's not a horror movie. I was like in first grade, and it's actually a comedy movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Mars Attacks.
Okay.
Or Mars Attack. It scared the shit out of me as a little kid. Holy fuck! I was as a kid, and even to this day, I'm not great on my own watching horror movies.
Yeah.
I'm okay with other people, but as long as there's someone more afraid than me, I'm good. The same way with roller coasters. But Mars Attacks, and then in like second grade, also not a horror movie, really. War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That movie scared the shit out of me. I would after school, if my dad would make fun of me. He would if he was late picking me up, I would think the aliens like had killed him. Like, I would ask if I could call my dad to make sure he wasn't dead from the aliens. Like it was that scary to me in like second grade.
What was it? You talk about movies that kind of, I wouldn't say really fucked me up, but did you ever watch Bye Bye Man?
I have not.
I think so. It's probably been a long time, but I think I have.
It's like an off-brand Slenderman type deal.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it, and not really anything in the movie scared me, but it's one of those things, what if I say this? Am I going to see this thing like somewhere? And, I'm going to meet my inevitable demise. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things that kind of made me keep thinking.
So, my movie, some people wouldn't call it a horror movie. It's kind of a horror comedy. Raise your hand if you've seen Shaun of the Dead. No?
No.
Shaun
No
of the
one.
Dead, is that the one with Simon Pegg? Is it?
And Nick Frost, yeah.
Yes, I've seen it. That scared you?
When I watched it when I was 8 years old.
Okay, fair enough.
And I was with my cousins who were visiting from Colorado.
Older?
And my brother, who was their age, they were all about 12 years old. And so we were watching it, and we had a clubhouse, quote unquote clubhouse, back when we lived, like before we moved to St. Paul. We only lived 5 miles away, but we had about 1.5 acres of land. And on the far corner of the land, there was like a little forest, and nestled inside of the forest was our clubhouse that my dad had built for us. And so we were chilling in there watching Shaun of the Dead, and it was nestled in the forest, and so there were kind of branches tapping against the clubhouse. and my brother was being a dick and like, you know, kind of pushing me to be scared. And so I almost shit myself several times during the movie.
Okay.
And then I just had to run out because I was so scared. I've watched it 1,000 times since then. And it's a great fucking movie. And
it's a good movie.
There's no movie now that scares me. Not a single movie now that scares me. I mean, you know, I might jump at like a jump scare, but those are fucking cheap shots. Those don't count.
They insult your manhood, huh?
Well, I mean, like they're not actually scary. If you're walking in your house and then someone just pops around the corner and goes boo, you're probably gonna be fucking scared if you didn't know that they were there. And that's all jump scares do. There's no actual like horror to them anymore, which is why I like the Conjuring movies, because they do have those jump scares, but they actually have a really good horror element to them.
Mm.
That's what I was going to ask next, was sort of, there's the different genres of like horror movies, right?
Right.
I actually enjoyed the zombie movies the most. I'll watch zombie movies on
Same.
Yeah.
But I don't particularly care for the gory movies like Saw, for example.
See,
I don't like, it just makes me cringe. That's not really scary.
it doesn't make me cringe, but I just don't like the Saw movies because it's like, for the same reason I don't like the Chucky movies. They're subpar movies. The first Chucky movie is actually pretty decent. The rest of them are dog shit. But they're subpar movies, and people only like them because they're edgy. And so they have the same fucking fan base. Sorry if anyone listening is like an avid fan of either one. But like Saw has no horror elements to it. It's just gore, like you said. And that's so boring to watch.
Only thing so I got in a big kick on them a few years ago. I watched through them, and the only thing I will have to say I like about them is you get to see the kind of decisions that the people make in those situations.
Right.
And there's usually some kind of twist right at the end. And I kind of like to see how that plays out. Other than that, though, like you said, it's mainly just gore, no horror element to it. They're just trying to gross you out, really.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've watched them. So I'll rewatch them just so that I can affirm my current stance on it. But I just couldn't get into them when I was younger because they were kind of boring. And the gore doesn't bother me at all, but they're just boring. And same with the Chucky movies. Chucky, dude, the people who like the Chucky movies are the same ones that have a flat bill hat, gauged ears, pierced lip, and carry around fucking monsters. You know what I mean?
How about we shout out some horror movies that we like, and let's see if there's any that sort of combine. So 3 sort of come to mind for me.
Okay.
That I think are somewhat scary or cool. A recent one was It Follows. I really liked that movie. I thought it was kind of scary.
It Follows.
It's, the premise is, I think there's like a demon or something, and it will fuck you up, but it walks towards you.
Oh, I did watch that. That was actually a pretty good movie. I
thought it was a good movie. I thought it was scary the first time I saw it. Not even scary, but I thought it was...
It was creepy.
Yeah, it was very I thought creepy. It was well done.
Yeah, it was. Well, I agree, actually.
I don't think... There's maybe 1 or 2 moments you scream in fear, if at all. And then
right,
the other...
Okay.
I scream in fear. Okay. Relax. And a very manly scream. You know, not a second grader high
right.
pitch.
See, if I scream, it's going to be a second grader high pitch scream.
The other 2... this one is more of a series, the Jeepers Creepers series. Man,
yeah,
those are good. I really enjoyed those, especially the first one with the guy from Dodgeball. I think his name is Justin Long, or that might be the name of his Dodgeball character.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
he was also in Accepted, and then the third one that I really enjoyed was called The Thing.
You know, I don't know that I ever watched The Thing.
John Carpenter's The Thing. It's probably my favorite.
John
horror.
Carpenter's the one who made Halloween, ain't he?
I don't know. He might have, but The Thing is an excellent movie, horror movie. You should definitely watch it, Joe, since you're such a fan of horror. How about you, Trey? Though, what would you sort of point
It's
out
Kurt
as, like,
Russell
exemplars?
Dude, see, that's the bad part. Like, I like watching horror movies, but I don't go seeking them out. I'm not just like, oh, you know, I've saw this one online. Let me go give it a watch. I see him out, and sometimes, you know, I'll look at him and think, oh, that'll be good, and I should catch that in the theaters, and I never do. But for examples, Jesus, see, that's the thing where I haven't watched that many.
You know, Get Out, I thought was also a good one. I haven't seen like the Jordan Peele's second like scary movie, like other one. I haven't seen that one, but Get Out was also pretty good.
Get Out.
It's where I'll try to be, weird here, but the white girl brings home a black man to her family.
That was a great movie.
Right.
That was a fantastic movie.
Turns out to be Psycho Family.
Yeah, I would have voted for Obama a third term. We all know that. You know what's actually really interesting is that guy, that actor, he's a really fucking good actor. He was in it's considered one of the best television shows of all time, The West Wing. And I just completely didn't recognize him at all. I never made that connection. But he's in The West Wing, and he's pretty much one of the main characters, and he's an excellent actor.
All right, for my movies, probably all-time favorite horror movie is The Babadook. Have either of you seen that?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it.
Same with Billy. I've heard of it, but never watched it.
Independent film. Very, very, very good movie. Love it. Next would probably be The Exorcist.
Classic.
I love The Exorcist. One of my favorites. Then, the first two movies I can watch any time of the year. However, this third one has to be during October because it's Halloween.
Hocus Pocus.
The original Halloween. One of my favorites. Love it. I'm going to go through a few here because I have horror movies are my thing. Then The Evil Dead. Have you all ever seen that?
No.
Another independent film. I can't believe you all haven't seen that. That's absolutely insane.
Okay, I can watch them if you want, but
you should. Evil Dead is very, very low budget, but fantastic movie. Last great one that I'll bring up is Rosemary's Baby. Have y'all ever seen that?
No.
Who the fuck am I doing a podcast with right now?
So, it's like I said, dude.
The 1968 horror film. You haven't seen The Thing.
That's true, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I haven't. But I'm going to. I'm going to watch that shit as soon as we finish this podcast.
You have some... No, you said this to me last week when I recommended a movie to you.
I'm literally going to start right after we finish.
Have you seen... You haven't seen the movie I recommended to you, did you?
No, not yet.
That's right. I have no faith.
Now, some bad horror movies that you should never, ever watch. Unless you want to laugh at how bad it is. First is, and I'm going to catch some shit for this, I'm sure. A Nightmare on Elm Street.
You don't like, you're not a fan of Freddy?
Terrible fucking movie. It was so fucking bad.
The best part, I have seen this one, is where at the end, he like grabs her through the door. That's awesome. I like that.
Next is The Poltergeist.
Haven't seen it. Heard of it.
Stupid fucking movie. Really cool backstory in the movie. Like, how they filmed it and everything. Because apparently, there's a part in the movie where all these coffins start shooting up through the ground. And they open and there's like skeletons in there. They used real skeletons. of real
really?
fucking people. And apparently, several of the members of the cast died like a year or two later. And so they said that it's a cursed movie.
See, I don't remember what movie this is, but I remember it was either on a video or I read about it. Probably a YouTube video. And they talked about it. And the people that were on set, like, they were having mental breakdowns trying to film it. I don't remember what it was.
Wow.
Maybe it was that one, honestly, but they were trying to go through it, and it was tough for everybody to do, which is pretty scary, honestly.
I heard of a movie like that not too long ago, but I don't remember what it was. But actually, I forgot to mention another great horror movie is Amityville Horror, the original one.
Yeah, I think I have seen
1979.
That one, and it did scare the shit out of me.
Fantastic fucking that one is actually, if there's one to scare me, it would probably be either Amityville or The Exorcist. If there's one to scare me. Or actually the Babadook does give me the willies. But I just don't get like too scared to watch. I've never gotten there since I ran out of the clubhouse when I was 8 years old.
I'm sure we're gonna go switch to quickies soon.
Yeah.
So Trey, if you haven't thought of a quickie, here's your 5-second warning to think of one. But I have a little anecdote of watching, the Scary Movie parody franchise.
Yeah.
I love those. They're great. So I think I was watching them with my friend once. I think we watched the first one, and we watched it. Thought it was awesome. It was funny, and we go like, "Hey, we should actually just watch the original one that it's parodying first, and then we'll get the joke. It won't be as scary. We already know who the killer is, but of course, so we watch it, and it's Scream. I think is the first one. It's an awesome movie.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Really great horror movie as well. But it's a completely different. The killer in Scream is a different killer from the one in Scary Movie 1. I think
it is,
which really shocked us and surprised us. we were totally caught off guard in those watching the actual horror movie.
Yeah, the Scary Movie franchise made me start watching a lot of the. I was never a huge fan of the Scary Movie movies.
Yeah,
I really liked the second one, where they're going to that big haunted house, and that weird guy with the decrepit hand is like trying to carry their bags and shit. He's like, "Let me use my strong hand."
Yes,
I love that guy. I love that movie, but I did watch all of them, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go watch some of these movies that they're parodying.
Right.
And so that's how I actually watched Scream the first time. And
same.
It was a very good movie. I was surprised at how good Scream was.
Mm-hmm. The best part of the scary movies is the was.
I hate that fucking guy who does that. I like it whenever in the second one, whenever that, I don't remember any names, but that chick and her boyfriend are fucking, and he's like, "Yeah, be nasty," and she's like, "Yeah, nasty."
God!
She starts trying to say a few nasty things, and he's like, "Yeah," and she's like, "I'm a shit on you," and he's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "I'm gonna shit all over these walls, Ray." It's so fucking.
I think
funny.
That's Brenda. And I think Ray is gay, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Okay.
So kind of off of the scary movies, did you ever watch the two A Haunted House movies that they made?
I have not.
No, I don't think so.
Oh my god, I love them. I think the first one, they're basing that one off of Paranormal Activity, and Cedric the Entertainer's in there. So
Okay.
what happens is, the dude's wife gets possessed, and he like calls in some people to try and help out. He calls in like his cousin or something, and they're like supposed to be gangsters, and they come in. Ghost literally starts throwing shit all over the house, and they freak out and run. And then he calls in Cedric, who's supposed to be like the priest or whatever, and things go haywire, and they lose her and find her in a room, and she's kind of huddled all up and crying. And the husband, he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay, honey?" And Cedric grabs him. He's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, she's like the witch from Left 4 Dead. She's gonna eat your ass." There's something. When that happened, I died. I was like, "Dude, that is perfect."
So,
all right.
how about we do the quickies, eh?
Yeah, I got
Only
one.
one or two?
Yeah, we'll do two. First one. This one's a little raunchy, so if no one wants to hear this, skip forward a little bit. Whenever you go to the bathroom, do you wipe standing up or sitting down?
Sitting down?
You wipe sitting down?
Yeah.
Billy?
I wipe sitting down.
What the fuck? Why?
What? That's how I do it. I'm already sitting down.
Let me go ahead and quote a video that I've watched.
Oh, you're about to get your shit rough.
I wasn't expecting to have to go into this with like fucking evidence and source.
No. It's not like about standing up or sitting down.
Okay.
Have you ever, the game Typing of the Dead?
No.
What?
No.
Wait, we've moved on from the horror topics, Trey.
Well, the thing is that, like, who was it? I want to say it was Sega made it. It was a spin-off of some other house game that they made, and it was called Typing of the Dead. Some guy did a YouTube video on it, and I'll have to send you his YouTube page and let you watch some of his videos. But they're fighting like this monster, and the guys are like clicking away on the keyboard, typing at it. And the question was, do you wipe when do you wipe your butt? And it was like stand or sit. One dude typed stand and the other two typed sit. And he's like, "Why do you wipe when you're standing up?" He's like, "You wipe when you're standing up?" "Yeah, doesn't everyone?" It's like, and he goes, "No, when you stand up, it smushes it together and makes more of a mess." And the other guy's like, "Noted."
So the first time I heard about that, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I remember I was with my roommate at the time, and I looked over at him. I was like, "Did you know people wipe sitting down?" And he said, "Sitting down?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why the fuck would you do that?" And I said, "I don't know. I assume you wipe standing up." He's like, "Yeah, I'm already standing." And so I didn't think anything of it at the time, but a couple minutes later, I was like, "Wait, did you say that you're already standing up?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "What the fuck do you mean by that?" And he was like, I'm already standing up." And I was like, "You stand up when you shit." And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Do you squat?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I like squat over it, but my ass doesn't touch the toilet seat." I was like, "What the fuck?" That's a whole other debate.
I thought you legit meant he was standing up and shitting in the toilet, and I was going to go, "How is that even possible?"
Yeah,
someone to do that.
He's straight
just
up,
kind of bends over a little bit and
he probably puts the toilet paper in his underwear, and just catches it and then flushes that. Okay, I'm sorry, but there is a 1B to this. I'm aware of the sitting up and standing, or sitting down and standing up debate, and I'm not a squatty potty user, but there is also a similar thing where it's, do you wipe back to front or front to back? That's also a discussion.
Right. I think that depends on if you're standing or sitting. It's more applicable if you're sitting, because if you're standing, you're obviously wiping front to back.
Okay.
Do I have to explain to you why? Or do you get it? Okay.
No, I can figure that out.
Okay.
But I also think that's a gender thing as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
that will definitely affect your ability on which way you wipe.
Yes. Yeah. So why don't we just leave that one at that? Trey, do you have a quickie?
I have another if you don't.
Dude, do it. I mean, I can come up with one, but I want to hear yours too.
We'll end with yours, Trey.
I'm going to bring this up more in depth in a later episode.
Uh-oh.
But this is a good teaser. What, if any, conspiracy theories do you believe in?
Ooh.
Oh, damn.
None off
Honestly,
the top of my head. I can't think of one.
see any conspiracy theory. Well, I won't say any. Most that I run by, I'm just like, dude, there's no way. That makes absolutely no sense. I mean, I've probably not ran into all the good ones, but all the shitty ones that I read, I'm like, that's not good at all.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
I'm not
think
gonna believe that.
I think most are pretty shitty, and I don't believe. But there are a few I do believe.
Which are what? Maybe
I
I'll agree with
think
you.
I think the one that catches the most shit is the classic Bush did 9/11.
True.
I do actually believe that our government did 9/11 so that they could go to war to get oil. And like I said, I will do this in a later episode because I actually like.
Oh, you have your research.
I think that there's 20 years of history leading up to it. That
starting from Reagan.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Right.
But I'll get more in depth about
Okay.
that in the later episode.
I'll have to prepare for that.
But definitely, I believe Bush did 9/11. I believe that the moon is a hologram. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. I don't believe that one.
What about the moon landing?
I don't believe that conspiracy theory. I do believe we actually landed on the moon.
One of my brother's friends, his mom believes that was a fake. And I'm like, how the fuck do you believe that that's fake?
I've known a few people who believed in flat Earth.
Yeah, that was the next one I was going to bring up. Are you a flat Earth?
Oh no,
no.
Are you a pancaker?
No, that's the dumbest fucking conspiracy theory to me. It's so fucking stupid.
You all brought this one up a little while, a couple episodes ago, or maybe it was the last one. But the whole ice wall ordeal, that we're just surrounded by ice on all edges of the earth.
I don't know that we ever brought that up, but I actually just watched another podcast talk about that today. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
How about, are you a Lizard People subscriber?
No.
Or the Illuminati?
Neither.
No? Okay, so Illuminati, I won't say to the extremities that I believe it, but I can see that there would be a group of people plotting to try and take over the government.
I mean, it depends on how you define the Illuminati, because I'm a member of the Freemasons.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people associate the Freemasons with the Illuminati, which is bullshit. It's mostly just a bunch of old men getting together to eat dinner.
Yeah, but
I know I'm part of them.
You would say,
right?
So,
but people jokingly ask all the time if we sacrifice virgins.
Oh my god!
And so all the old men started saying, "Well, we used to, but we can't find any anymore, so we just sacrifice goats." Okay. So, but I can see that there's some elite members of society that are extremely rich and have the means to run most of the things, such as oil companies, because I think that they pushed our government to go to war for oil. But do I think that it's like a blood-sucking, child-molesting group like my parents think? Satan-worshipping cabal? No, I don't think that. I don't think there's an Illuminati like that.
I will clarify. I don't think Bush did 9/11. Okay. I'm interested to hear your evidence, Joe.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it's important to say none of these conspiracy theories I really subscribe to. I think what's more interesting is the criminal theories. Well, everyone knows certain things, right? But you can't get every murder, right? Casey Anthony walked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And OJ.
I was going to say OJ.
OJ Simpson. Famous cases like that. I'm more inclined to sort of be in a conspiracy state of mind for those. versus like governmental ones.
Wow, what conspiracies behind those?
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear like Casey Anthony is like a pathological liar and
Right.
obviously a very shitty mother. So there's definitely I don't remember. I don't think she was convicted on it.
She wasn't.
Like, it's like, come on.
So,
Like, you can sort of jury nullify the law at some point.
remind me to tell you a story about Casey to end this episode. Trey, what's your quickie?
Okay, so if there was one game, I mean, you can play multiplayer games,
Okay.
but any solo game that you have to choose that you can only play forever, what would that game be?
God
That
of
you could
War
be
PS4.
PS. Ooh,
The
good choice.
latest God of War. It's so much fucking fun. Best single player game I've ever played.
I won't. I mean, this is kind of off of the topic a little bit. Not really. I
You're
like
on
the
top.
game.
Go
I
ahead.
love the game. It was a great game, but I don't know. When I was playing it, I was still trying to compare it to all the old ones. So I was still like, I mean, I felt like combat was awesome in that game, but
Yeah.
it still wasn't old school.
I like
So
that I like that the new God of War switched to the Norse mythology.
Yeah,
It's fucking sick, dude. And you're going around killing those gods like Baldur. Oh my god, it's so fucking cool. And the combat is just sick. I like how you have your chaos blades and the fucking frost axe.
dude, I freaked the fuck out whenever I got the Chaos Blades.
Yeah, I
was like,
know.
"Oh!"
Same. I was like, whenever you like he goes and gets the chaos blades, I was like, fucking what? I did
Yeah.
not see that coming. It was so fucking sick. All right, Billy.
I'm trying to think of the single player game that I played. Not many come to mind. I don't, because like I would think Stardew Valley or
Mhm.
Divinity, which I played solo, or Baldur's Gate,
Mhm.
but they all have multiplayer contexts. Like you can play them multiplayer. So
Yeah, but I think it counts because
So one of
it's
those
one of your
games,
favorite
probably.
games to play solo.
Yeah, I don't know. Franchise, probably Baldur's Gate franchise. Single game, definitely Stardew Valley. But yeah, hard question, Trey. Hard question. I
Yeah,
can't. I
good
can't
question.
think. Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
good question. Let's hear the
Uh,
Casey Anthony story.
Okay, so to
Wow, I
wrap
didn't
up
even
this
get to answer my
episode,
own question.
Oh
there,
shit!
Billy.
Sorry,
Oh,
Trey. I
shit.
thought you answered already.
yeah, I
No,
thought you
no,
did too. Go ahead.
That's your fault for diverging on your own topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh god, for me, like I've got at least 3 that come to mind. I mean, I could probably narrow it down, but Metal Gear Solid 4,
Fantastic.
Skyrim.
Also-
I don't know.
Skyrim. I was thinking of Skyrim as well.
Yeah.
I love those games, but especially that one. Or Yakuza 2. That game is, I don't know, I love it.
So if it's franchises, it's definitely Metal Gear franchise for me.
Oh god, yeah.
Because I would rather play through the whole Metal Gear franchise than I would the God of War. But just the single game, it's the God of War. I even have a tattoo from
Well, there you go.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
what
So
is
like that, it's the Outer Haven symbol. Liquid Snake's Outer Haven.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember seeing that one now. I
Yeah.
was thinking of something else. I don't know why.
It means
So Metal
you're
Gear's
dingling.
Metal Gear's my favorite all-time franchise. All right, so Casey Anthony joke. Billy, do you remember last week when I told you about the comedian Anthony Jeselnik?
Yes.
Well, here he comes with another banger of a joke.
He's just,
So
we need a running tally of revisited topics. We've been
So-
good. We didn't do the good place again.
I know. So
Eric.
he has the story about how he's performing down in Florida, I believe, which is where Casey Anthony was. And
Right.
he tells this joke on stage and he says, guys, I don't see what the big deal is. Of course, Casey Anthony is innocent. If she's guilty of anything, it's killing her baby. So then he said he's backstage signing tits. You know how it is. And this guy comes up to him. He's like, hey, you need to do me a favor, which is a bad way to start a conversation with him. And so he says, what? And he says, you need to never tell another Casey Anthony joke again. And he's like, why? You know, just to be a dick. And so he said, Kaylee Anthony, Casey's daughter, is my niece. And Anthony Jeselnik said bullshit. And so the guy pulls out his phone, sadly scrolls through some pictures, and then shows him a picture of him and little Kaylee Anthony in better times, of course. And he says,
of a picture in the past.
Right. See,
not in the future.
See, you son of a bitch. And Anthony Jeselnik says, no, man, I believed you. I'm just saying she was your niece.
Oh my God, dude. Huge burn.
Dude, I love that joke so much. Every time we listen to comedians, I have to play that one for Autumn. It's so fucking
funny. It's for Autumn, though. It's for you.
No, Autumn asks me to play it.
Oh, okay.
It's one of her favorite Anthony Jeselnik ones, too.
Hell yeah, dude.
But anyway. All right.
That's a good note to end a podcast on.
It is. Thank you, everyone who's given us feedback so far. Sammy, Trey doesn't give us much feedback. Mark doesn't give us any feedback.
I've seen some comments from Moy. Is it Moy?
I just like what you guys are doing, so I don't really say anything.
I mean, we want your feedback. We want your feedback, Trey. But Moy always listens. He's a loyal listener. He always comes in and gives us comments and shit, and we always discuss it in the Discord. So
and usually he agrees with me, which I appreciate very much.
Yeah, I could do without that. But
microwaves.
Thank you, Moy, for listening so much. And we have some German listeners.
We see the 2 downloads for whoever's in Germany.
So whoever you are, thank you.
Say thank you in German, Joe.
Dankeschön.
Oh, okay, and now
probably
butchered
for
our one Polish viewer.
I don't know Polish.
Shit, Trey,
Polish.
Oh, bruh! I've never even looked at learning Polish. I could.
It was worth a shot.
Imagine.
Billy, do you have anyone to thank?
I know I'm missing people, but just the regular crew. Thanks to everyone.
And Trey. You want to give it a shot at the outro?
Oh, I thought you were going to let me give thanks.
Oh, I mean, give thanks if you want.
Yeah, give a shout out, Trey. Please.
Want to thank Mom? Thank God.
Well, thank God for getting me to where I am today. No, but honestly, I thought about this. Big thanks to both of you and everybody pretty much in that server. Last year was a hell of a year, and you guys helped pull me through it. So, it's a little pull on the heartstrings there, but it's much appreciated.
Yeah, I'll probably cut that. It's a little too...
what the fuck, Trey? That's not on brand.
It's a little too kind-hearted for this podcast, Billy.
How about the charity, the donors for the charity stream?
Oh, hey, there we go. Okay. So for my thanks, I want to thank everybody who donated to my cause. Well, not my cause, but to the charity I'd selected on stream last week, Doctors Without Borders. Every donation, doesn't matter how much you gave, all appreciated. And everybody that tuned in, big thanks. Dude, that first night I had like 100-some views total, so I was pretty surprised.
Let's go.
Well, that's what's up. All right, Trey, now that you've done your thanks, take a stab at the outro.
Take us home. Country roads.
God. See here, now I'm going to try and overthink this too much. And be
just say whatever.
That's good. The worse, the better. It makes us feel better. The better.
Dude. See, now I'm going to try and come up
with just take a shot at it, and I'll actually close this out.
It could be good.
Okay, if it's good,
that's it.
We'll keep it.
All right, anyway. Big thanks to everybody who listened today. Billy and Joe, thank you guys for having me on. Hope you guys enjoyed. Everybody, stay tuned for the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.